People call these things imperfections, but they're not. Oh, that's the good stuff. And then we get to choose who we let into our weird little worlds. You're not perfect, sport. And let me save you the suspense. This girl you met, she isn't perfect either. But the question is whether or not you're perfect for each other. That's the whole deal. That's what intimacy is all about.
Why don't you love me, Jenny? I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
Yeah.
What easy way? There is no easy way. No matter what I do, somebody gets hurt.
Would you stop thinking about what everyone wants? Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
I keep coming back to you. Ooh, I keep coming back. You put me through hell, but I just can't stay mad at you. Know me so well, but you don't even have a clue that I'm the one that cares the most tonight.
All right. Well, it's at the bottom of the screen. Hello, everybody. So it's been a while. I know I've been absent, but I got a surprise for you this evening. This is something that I've talked about for a while, and I think those who have been in the know who this individual is, but if you are not, you're going to get acquainted with her this evening. So you have been somebody that has become a very big person in my life. And I think it's time that we kind of brought it out into the open a little bit and let people know a little bit about you, me, how we met. So this is going to be our first official interview with each other. Now, we talked about this, like, just for, backstory. We met on a dating app called Hinge. And one of the things that I put on my profile was this little, it was a, gosh, why is my mind going blank? Because he's sitting here next to me. It's making me nervous. Okay.
You said guess my secret talent.
Yes, multiple choice. It was a multiple choice thing right there. And it was guess my secret talent. And my three answers were
ballet dancer, NASCAR driver, and podcaster.
And podcaster, right?
Yeah.
So putting those out into my profile, she liked one of my answers.
Ballet dancer.
Ballet dancer, exactly. She wanted to find out whether or not I was a ballet dancer.
I wanted to see your moves.
She wanted to see my moves, exactly. It's the answer that most women want to do. No, I'm just kidding. No, but one of the things that the reason I wanted to put that out in the first place, because I thought it was a little bit fun, and I like somebody who is adventurous, so her choosing to respond kind of opened the doors. I saw her, of course, I saw that she liked my photo and my profile back, and I was like, wow, I was already, attracted to her. She was already very beautiful, but then to actually get a woman to respond to you on a dating app, guys, if you know and you've been down that journey, you know how hard it is, but she responded back, opened the doors, and we started having conversations. I mean, it started pretty quickly through the app at first, and then we kind of took it a little bit more personal. We started texting with each other, and then she did a surprise move that I thoroughly enjoyed. And you guys know I love video. I am a video person. Here we are doing video now. She said, let's hop on a FaceTime call. That was like, this is the kind of woman that I
wanted to make sure he wasn't like weird on camera, so I had to see what he looked like on camera, because I had some weird ones online before, making like strange noises when you were talking to them. So it was a breath of fresh air when he actually spoke with a great voice and he looked good on camera. So I wanted to meet him in person after that.
And that kind of started, us exchanging text messages, photos, started hopping on the phone and having conversations. And we set up our first official date. And well, you want to talk about being...
Well, he said it wrong. Like,
yes.
he scheduled the date for, like, in the future for a month later. So we get to the place and they said, you're not, like,
well, I was going to build that up. I was building up to that, baby. I wanted to say that we had built up this energy between the two of us. Let's just say this chemistry. It was very, very... I mean, it was explosive. I don't know how to say it except that I knew I felt this kind of way about this woman. And all I needed to confirm everything else that I was feeling was seeing her in person. And I mean, we had set a date for a nice Italian restaurant. I said, what's more romantic than a little, Italian food, the ambiance, just everything. And it was a really great restaurant. We have to go back at some point. But we met outside in the parking lot. And before I could even let her speak too much or anything, we saw each other in the parking lot. I walked over to her.
And I thought he was going to wait, but no.
First thing I did was do what? Tell him what I did.
You looked at me and kissed me.
Exactly. I went straight for it, not knowing whether or not she would have been like, this is kind of creepy. Lucky for me, she was reciprocal and it was magic. I mean, it was magic, and
we kissed in the doorway.
We did.
We were blocking traffic.
Then we got into the restaurant. Then I learned that I made the reservation for the wrong date into the future, but they were gracious enough to find us a table, and we had, our first meal together wasn't so much about the meal.
We didn't eat a whole lot.
We did not.
That's when I discovered, he can kiss really good.
Yes.
Way, way better than I've had in a long time, ever.
So before we go into any further, why don't we let everybody actually know who you are? Why don't you tell them your name and just let them know exactly. Yvette what? Yvette.
My last name?
Yeah, you can tell me last name. Richardson? Okay. I have plans on changing that. But, yes, Yvette Richardson is her name. She is my guest for this evening because one of the things that we talked about whenever we started dating, and I revealed the reason I told everybody why those 3 multiple choice questions, because once I revealed to her that I was actually a podcaster, we started talking one day over the phone, and she said, maybe we should do an interview. We were going to do the interview, well, quote unquote. The plan that we talked about was we were going to do the interview on our first date.
I told him, I was like, yeah, you're going to interview me on the first date. So I was all prepared for a bunch of questions. I was like, okay, what is he going to ask me? So I was really prepared for it, but we didn't do a lot of talking.
No, we didn't do a lot of talking. A lot of, we did talk, but it just wasn't a lot. It was mostly us just exchanging lip fluids, I guess you could say, mouth fluids back and forth. So much so the actual waiter came up to us and was without kicking us out, he was like, hey, this place had a nice rooftop area where people could go. He's like, hey, have you guys checked out our beautiful romantic rooftop where you can go see the skyline of Dallas, beautiful at night, So pretty much telling us, why don't you guys go up there and go do what you're doing down here, up there. And my only question was, could we take our wine? He said, yes. We were gone. We went up there. Beautiful, beautiful. And it confirmed a lot of things that I was already feeling. And I knew from that moment on that she was the one for me. It wasn't even a question after that. I knew that she was the person who, lit my fire. So, one of the things that I did want to talk about, though, before we go any further, was, of course, our own personal journeys of how we got to this point of meeting each other on a dating app. So I will go first, and I'll let you kind of share my experiences where I was not having any kind of luck with a lot of these dating apps. I'd paid for a dating app, wasn't getting anything out of it. I mean, you name it. I paid for Tinder, nothing. I mean, it was dead. I tried Bumble, was another one, nothing. And then I tried Hinge, but I was like, you know what? I paid for the other two and it sucked. I'm not going to pay for this one. And it actually was the one that worked. The free one actually worked for me. So I almost consecutively met 3 women on the app at the same time. I started talking to all 3 of them. Of course, you just want to check out your options. And she was one of the 3. Didn't know whether or not any of them would respond. One of them kind of did. The other one was very receptive. We actually met the next day, but turns out she was still quote unquote married, wasn't really divorced just yet. So that was kind of, I don't know, I just wasn't with that vibe. So at that point, I was only thinking to myself, well, I don't know, maybe one of these other 2 women will respond. And it turns out a few days later, this beautiful lady right here sitting next to me now responded and started the opportunity for me to communicate. And I mean, I'm very forward. You guys know me. I've shared my phone number on a damn live stream. So kind of just tell. So I was just very forward in saying, hey, look, I don't really, it was a free app. So it was like, I really don't come on here. I don't get too many notifications all the time, but here's my phone number if you want to text me and we can go a little further from there. And it was okay. I get it. Some guy, it can, for a woman, I'm just saying, I don't know. I'll let her speak to her experiences. But for me, it was like, I get it if they're creeped out and they don't want to just do it immediately. So we just continued talking to the app. And then one day, out of the blue, I get a text message saying, hi, Gabe, it's Yvette, and this is my number. You can text me. And we went from there. And it was, I mean, so far the rest has been history, but my experiences with being on dating apps up until I met her were shit. And now that I know it worked out, I have a different opinion of them. But I don't know if everybody's experiences are the same, but I just have to say, without it, I'm not sitting here. We're not doing this. None of this is happening. So thumbs up for me on dating apps. So that's what I'll share about it, and I'll let her kind of talk about her own experiences up until meeting moi.
Okay, so I was not having a lot of luck on that dating sites. Like, I was using Facebook dating at first, and when I initially went on there, I was just looking for friendships because I wasn't quite ready to like be in a long-term relationship. I just wanted to have a friend. And that went okay. I met like one guy, we became friends, and then he ended up being a little psycho, so I had to delete him and block him. But after that, I was like, okay, maybe I don't need any guy friends. And so then I was like, well, maybe I need to meet somebody in person. So I started joining like community groups at my church. I started like trying to put myself out there, and I just wasn't meeting anybody in person. So I was like, maybe I should try dating apps. So I met a guy. We went out for 2 months, ended up being pretty much a narcissist. And so I ended that relationship. And then I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. So I did meet or talk to one other guy, and he ended up being weird. So I was like, no, I don't want to talk to anybody. So I went off all the dating apps for, gosh, like 7 months. And then something told me like to click on the Hinge app because I was like, oh, I didn't delete this one. So I clicked on it, and I ended up like seeing that there were some likes on there. So I started clicking on those. Went out on one date with a guy, and he just wanted one thing, and I was like, no. And then I was like, maybe I'll talk to somebody else, possibly. I don't know. And so I clicked on a couple, and one guy, he just like never really had time for me. Like he would say hi, and then I wouldn't hear back from him for like a few days, and then sometimes it'd be a week, and then he was like, I'm so sorry. Like I had a friend that died, and I really am interested, but I'm just been really busy. So I was like, that's fine. Like I wasn't in a rush to be with anybody. So I was like, it's whatever. And so then I see the ballet dancer pop up, and I'm like, I don't know. This one sounds kind of funny. So I need some humor in my life. So let me like his picture back. Let's see. And I just waited it out. I was like, is he going to say something to me, or am I going to have to be the proactive person and say something? But I was like, I'll just click like on his picture and see if he responds. And he did. So he started sending me messages, and it was like just every message just kept getting better and better. And then he's like, hey, here's my number. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, because guys typically just start getting weird after a while. So let me just stay on the app, and then we'll see. And then I know like I'm on this one Facebook group called Are We Dating the Same Guy? And like every woman on there says, don't give them your real number. Like get a Google number, because if they have your real number, then they have access to your home address. And so I was like freaked out about that. So I don't want anyone having my home address. So I made a Google account, and I was going to give Gabe my Google number. And so I was like, let me wait first and see. Like I was almost ready to give him my Google number. And then he was like, well, yeah, I do these live streams. And so he sent me this one, and I watched it. It was on a guy named James. And I was like in tears. Like it was so good. And so I thought, oh my gosh, if this guy like interviews these people, and like he has this heart, and like just the questions that he asked, and like I just felt like he had this compassion. I was like, I don't know. I felt drawn to him, and I felt like I could trust him. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to give him my real number. I'm not going to give him the Google number. I'll give him my real. I think I can trust him. I did look him up too, just to be safe. Make sure he didn't have a record or anything. Yeah, he didn't.
I didn't have a record, so.
He didn't. So he was being true. So I gave him my real number, and then that's when I told him, I was like, okay, I didn't want to waste any time. Like we needed FaceTime, because I want to make sure that, you are really Gabe, which I'm pretty sure you are, but, I want to make sure. And then two, that you don't make noises. Like this one guy, I FaceTimed him, and every time I talked to him, he'd be like, and he'd make this weird sound after he would speak. And so I was like, okay, if he does anything weird, then turn off. Like, can't do it. Sorry. So got on FaceTime, and I was like, oh my God, I was instantly attracted to him. I was like, I have to meet you in person, because I'm just completely 100% attracted to you. So then that's when we decided to see each other.
Yeah, we decided to see each other. And of course, that's where and I just have to say, the FaceTime phone call really did a lot for me. Like again, you guys know me, I'm a visual person. It was fun. We had fun. We were talking, and it wasn't like we had this really drawn out conversation. She had things going. She's a mommy. It's got her daughter with her. It was my weekend with the 4 kiddos, and you know how that can be, guys. It's just So we both planned on waking up early.
7:30.
7. We got on a call. We talked for a little while.
5 minutes.
Yeah, somewhere. No, actually, that's probably more like 30. We actually had as far as like the whole conversation.
Before my daughter.
Before you daughter, yeah. And then that kind of
It
just
seemed quick.
Of course. And after that, things just kind of took off between the two of us, and I knew, I like I said, I knew myself that this is kind of what I wanted, and I found out that she was somebody that, again, like checked all the boxes for me. She was smart. She's going for a master's. She's smart. She's funny. We had laughs. I mean, of course, she's beautiful, or else I'm not. It's everything. A lot of things just clicked, and I told myself like this. I was just crossing my fingers and saying, "Let her be everything that she seems to be." And the more that we talked, the more that we messaged each other, the more that we spent time on the phone, just everything made a lot more sense as we got closer to that point. And I think once we got to that point of meeting each other, it was everything and then some. Whenever I saw her, and I couldn't help myself. I just couldn't. I'm sorry, I couldn't. And I've told her this before. I couldn't help myself. I saw her. I was like, I couldn't wait. I had to know, like right there and then. So within 5 minutes of us talking on the phone right before we were about to meet up, because I was trying to find out where she was, and to the point that our lips kissed, I was gone. I was hers from that point on. She didn't know it, but I knew I was hers. And now I've just spent the last almost 2.5 months just every day reiterating that is the case still, that I feel this strongly about this woman and I love her. And
he said I love you like after 2 weeks.
Yeah, after 2 weeks.
And he like said all these other loving things to me. And so like I posted about it in the Are We Dating the Same Guy? And I was like, this guy that I met has 0 red flags. Like he is totally amazing. And I had posted it like before we FaceTime. Like I'm about to do a FaceTime date with him, and then we're gonna meet in person. And then I had put some other stuff on there, and like all these haters came out and were like, he's love bombing you and you're love bombing him, and like, oh, you need to like slow down, like you're going way too fast, and like all this stuff. And it's like, if we had listened to the people that said that, like I don't think we'd be where we are today. But we didn't let any of that affect us, and we're like, you know what, it's true. Like there, and like what Gabe said, there's not a timetable on love. Like, it's when you know. And he was probably more sure of it first before I was. But he's proven it to me like every day, like all the time. Like I feel his love so strongly. Like this is the best love I've ever had in my life. I've never had love like this before. It's amazing.
It is. It truly is. And I just have to say that it can happen, folks. So if you're out there and you're wondering whether or not these kind of things exist and whether or not true love can happen and can find you at any one point in your life, yeah, absolutely. I'm living it. I'm living a dream right now. And the best part for me is that I found her at a point in my life where I feel like I was ready for it. Like I knew, like I was foundationally at a point in my life where I knew I wanted somebody like this to come into my world. And like now that she's here, I've told her I'm not letting her go anywhere. Not like I'm holding her hostage or anything, but willingly, I don't want her to go anywhere, and I'm not going to let her go anywhere. So, just honestly, baby, from the bottom of my heart, I love you. And yes, you did just see me kiss live. I'm just kidding. This isn't live. It's recorded. So we can edit that out if I want to somewhere down the road. But, I think this was just one of those, it was just a perfect moment for both of us in our lives that we were ready for this. Although we weren't ready for it, we were ready for it. We just didn't know until we met that it was meant to be. So, I don't know, baby. Do you have any questions for me?
You were supposed to. You're the interviewer.
Okay, well,
this list of questions for.
Well, I think all my questions. Okay, here's a question that I wanted to ask you. What did you think about me the first time you saw me? Like full body, everything. I mean, you had seen videos of me, and of course, everybody has. You see me from head up, so it's like, what does the rest of you look like? I mean, I could have 3 feet.
I thought you were a man.
I thought you were a man.
Well, there's a man.
There's a man
and he's coming towards me.
Yes. Okay.
And what is he gonna do?
What is he gonna do to her? Yeah, exactly. What are you gonna do? So that was one thing. The second thing that I want to ask you, because this is one of the things I had troubles with when I started dating and realized this was not going to be an easy climb. But what did you think to yourself when I told you, and you have all the other things, oh, he's handsome, when I said, that's great, but I have 4 kids.
The more the merrier.
See, look, this is why I love this woman.
I always wanted more kids, and I didn't get blessed with that many. I have my 2 stepdaughters, and then I have my 2. But I wanted more kids, so I was like, that's fine with me.
See, that's awesome. We've talked about it. We've joked about it a little bit where now when we go into restaurants, it's like, instead of just needing a table for, like before it was just a table for 2 now for her and her daughter. Now it's like, we need a table for 7. So that number just went up exponentially pretty quickly.
Wait now. It's not fast.
Yeah, it's not fast anymore. It's like, oh yeah, we got a table for 2 right over here. You guys, we got you. Now it's like, it's going to be a 45-minute wait, sir. Is that okay? So that's kind of changed. Another thing that
Other questions.
So another question I have is, what did you think about when I told you that I was getting out of a 20+ year relationship? Because I've had that asked of me from other women, like, why? So what did you think when I told you I was getting out of a 20+ year relationship with the same woman?
Well, I thought, like, one, that you're loyal because you've been with somebody for that long. Like, not many people, because one of the guys I talked to, he said the longest relationship he had been in was 9 months. Ooh. And I was like, you're in your 40s and that's the longest you've ever been with somebody. Like, that shows me that you know how to care and love somebody for a long period of time, which looked good to me. Like, I didn't see that as an issue or a problem whatsoever. And then, like, in my relationship, I knew that we had grown apart, so I didn't automatically assume that it was infidelity. Like, I thought maybe they just grew apart. So when you said that, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So that's what it was. So I didn't think anything like bad about it.
Okay, cool. I like that answer. So what did you think about, yourself when I told you that I do live streaming and I do podcasting and I share a lot of my life openly and publicly.
I was excited.
Excited.
Yeah, I was excited because I don't mind doing it. Like I had gotten out of it for a little while, but I have. You saw I do TikToks. So
she does have TikToks.
I do TikToks of my daughter all the time and videos of us, and I post that, and I don't have a problem with being online at all. And I've had other videos that I've posted talking. So I was like, that's cool. I thought it was exciting that you did that.
Cool.
And then I also felt like you would be a more of an honest person, because if you're willing to put your life out there and, be open about it, I was like, you're probably who you are in person like you are online. Like most people are too afraid to post anything about their life on, social media, because it's like they don't want anyone in their business, because maybe they aren't the best people behind closed doors, and so they don't want that out there. So I thought maybe you're more of an honest person too.
Awesome. Yes, I am. I try to be as honest as I can. Now, there are a few things that you guys know about that you've seen me do that aren't always the best, but they are me authentically. So all the dumb shit that I've done, all the stuff that you guys have been a part of my journey on, that I've just been who I try to be. And that's how I kind of always try to live my life when it comes to that. So part of me doing this now and wanting to bring her into my world is the same sort of deal. It's just going to be a process of opening my world a little bit. And then, there's going to be things that are going to be discretionary. I might not be ready to be sharing everything like I did in the past, but again, I don't want to hide this part of my life, because just like you guys have seen me bring my kids into this world and see them in the background and being around when I'm doing stuff, it's going to be the same deal here. I still want to be creative. I still want to put myself out there. I still want to share these things, but I also want everyone to know that this woman and everything about her is part of my world now. She's a big part of everything that I do. So I don't want to hide that any further. So my next question for you is, do you think me doing these shows and talking to people live will affect our relationship in any way?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I've seen you go live already, and I don't think it's affected anything, because, as long as you keep claiming that I'm this amazing person that you're in love with, I don't see a problem with it. And you're always, when I go on there, you're always commenting and saying, that's my girlfriend. And so I know you're not ashamed of me or trying to hide me or anything. No. And, and all the women out there that think he's super handsome, I know aren't going to get him. So that doesn't worry me, because, you're in love with me. So.
Yes, I am in love with her. So, all right, good.
I don't think it will affect anything.
How do you feel about doing this on the regular? Having more of these conversations between me and you?
I like it.
Would you want to do it?
Mm-hmm.
See? Yeah. She's already ready to I've already turned her out into becoming a podcaster herself. So, all right. I think that's cool. We've done a 30-minute interview, and now I think we've done enough to try to go do it live. So if you get a chance to watch us, we're going to go live here in a little bit. But thank you again for anybody who's watched this. I will be putting this on the YouTube channel. So if you want to go head over to the Gabe Experience, please subscribe to the channel. We're always trying to build our viewership over there. And hopefully you guys will see more awesome content from me and the amazing, beautiful, intelligent, lovely Miss Yvette. So, all right, guys, we're going to call it a night on this one, and then we will see you guys here in a little bit when we go live, okay? Until then, until the next time, guys, bye, everybody.
Bye.